Hi, I'm Sadaf. I'm the co-founder of Codeschool.pk. Pakistan has more young people today than in the history of the country. But what you might not know is that schools don't quite know how to prepare you. Schools are failing us not because of something intentional, but they simply don't know what jobs will exist when kids in school today will graduate. There's a stat that says that 65% of jobs haven't even been invented as yet. That means that a child that's maybe in junior school right now is going to graduate into a world where 65% of jobs haven't even been invented as yet. And so how can schools prepare us for this unknown future? The future is digital. That's the one thing we know. And there's some 21st century skills that are extremely critical for all schools to teach. And that means that there needs to be a shift. Schools don't need to prepare kids for jobs anymore. Schools need to be preparing kids how to think. And as a result, there are these critical 21st century skills that scientists have come up with that we know are needed in the marketplace right now. Things like problem solving, critical thinking, resilience, creativity. So it's not that easy to teach these skills because there isn't really a subject called problem solving, especially in primary and secondary. There isn't a national curriculum or learning outcomes that can help you say, yes, this is how you teach it, and this is how this means, this is a grade that you can get on problem solving. But what we do know is that there have been many research studies that show that teaching programming, especially in the early years, can actually bring about all these spillover benefits of 21st century skills. In fact, there's a study that took place in the US that actually showed that kids that studied programming, especially in school, actually became smarter, not just in programming, but in other subjects like math, even English, and other non-programming subjects, which I found very, very fascinating. So I started Codeschool.pk a couple of years ago. And the idea really was to inculcate a sense of fun that came with programming, because that's the kind of upbringing I had. My brother and I had early exposure to tech. I remember learning Logo, which is a programming language that came out of MIT in the early 80s when I was 8 years. My brother taught himself C++ when he was in the early 90s, when he was around 12 years of age. And together with our team, we have over 50 years of experience in education and programming. One of the problems that we learned, why is it that coding for kids has been a big market, since way back in the 70s in the US. It's really flourished in similar markets like India with Baiju, which is worth millions and millions of dollars. What we found like one of the biggest problems with implementing this in Pakistan was a lack of teachers and a lack of curriculum. And so the way that Codeschool decided to solve for these issues is that we take programming experts with the right raw material, and then we teach them how to teach. And then in terms of curriculum, we thought it would be a really fun and interactive way to engage kids by having them learn very serious and big programming related fundamentals through games. So kids will make games, they will share them, play them with family and friends, and then learn some really important things along the way. And so we've created this marketplace. It's a marketplace where an instructor can log in from anywhere in the world for an hour or two and give a class on the weekends when kids are free. And parents can log in from anywhere in the world and take that class. And along the way, what Codeschool does is also obviously do a lot of quality assurance and making sure that we're actually getting the learning outcomes. We've managed to reach over 650 students in 10 different countries. We recently won this pitch competition out of 85 startups from India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. And it was run by the Stanford Business School SEED Spark program. And so it really kind of showed that we have a lot of potential here in Pakistan. I think one of the key things is that schools today, the classrooms were designed in the 19th century. Teachers, by and large, were born in the 20th century. But our children are from the 21st century. And so it's extremely important for us to do some kind of intervention in our schools today before an entire generation misses out. So if you're a student, whether you're in school or whether you are in college, I think programming is such a critical skill and it is so easy to learn. But first, I think, what is programming? We get so many questions on, what is it? Think of it as a language. Just like you have French or Mandarin, you also have a language with which you can talk to computers. And just like you have multiple languages in the world, you have multiple programming languages that evolve to solve different kinds of problems. And so it's one of the most democratic things. There's no barrier, there's no university. You don't even need to pay anyone to take a course. It's as simple as doing online YouTube tutorials, taking some free MOOCs or those massive online courses, or what you can do is take a paid program. There's so many available all over the world online and even in person right here in Pakistan, no matter where you are. Why should you be doing this? Every single field that you're going to go into, whether it's something as far away as art, whatever field you can think of, all of them will have some form of tech and some form of programming included in them. And if you don't realize how software works, you will be left behind and you will not know how to properly apply it within the field that you choose to go into. And so I would really encourage all students to really look into this field.